today's session is more or less a follow-up to our session a couple weeks ago on what APIX is, how it can benefit you as a fintech company, how you can get set up as an APIX member, and then also how you can make use of the funding opportunities that are available. And there we have Hock Chia from the Singapore FinTech Association, as well as Anand Vikash from Virtusa, and Michelle Lee from AMTD Digital to share details there. Just a couple housekeeping things. So number one, this is meant to be not kind of a top-down discussion, but rather a town hall format. So please ask questions. There's a Q&A feature at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Please ask your questions. This is meant to be for the benefit of APIX applicants and APIX members that are considering applying for the SFA grants or the AMTD investments. So it's really for your benefit, but we have some thoughts about the information to share. But really, this is for your benefit. So please make use of that feature, and I will jump in and make sure your question is addressed by the relevant panelists. So the agenda today, we're going to have Manish Diwaan, who's the who's the managing director for APIX, do a quick overview of what the APIX platform is, what the vision is, and the structure of the platform. After that, we'll have Anand from Virtusa walk through and do a quick tutorial on the different features on APIX, and particularly how you can sign up to be a member and to publish your API or your proof of concept idea. And followed by Hock from the Singapore FinTech Association, who will share some details about the SFA grant. And then lastly, Michelle Lee from AMTD will share details on the AMTD investment scheme. So without further ado, Manish, over to you for a quick overview of APIX.
Thanks for that intro, Todd. Can I have the slides, please? I hope I'm audible.
Yep, you're good, Manish.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Can we move to the next slide, please? So APIX, as most of you must be aware, that it's a fintech and financial institution collaboration platform. The objective of APIX is to speed up the process of innovation between the two interested parties, which is the financial institution and the fintechs. And in between, we try and solve all these problems that you as fintechs face, which is the speed of collaboration is very slow. It takes a lot of time. The success rates to reach to a POC and post that are very, very small. And also to reach out to all the financial institution in a large geography may be extremely difficult for an individual organization. Can I move to the next slide, please? So APIX is perhaps one of the world's first open innovation platform on cloud, which brings together these 5 very critical components which are important for the collaboration between financial institution and fintech ecosystem, which is in the center, as you can see, the sandbox, which is our core offering, public sandbox on cloud, a global fintech marketplace, synthetic data APIs, a solutions catalog where you as fintechs, when you come on board, can go and upload your solutions for interested financial institutions to come and actually check out your solution instead of a PowerPoint presentation. They can actually touch and feel how your solutions work. And this can be built completely on the APIX sandbox using the synthetic data. We have 3 million rows of synthetic data which replicate any standard banking transaction. Plus, besides that, we also provide connector APIs which replicate a core banking system. So we take care of all your data requirements and your infrastructure requirements. Plus, we also have an open community and a APIX member-only community for you to have conversations. Please go on. Next slide. APIX as a platform is not just for fintech. It's for anybody who's a regtech or a souptech or an AI or a chatbot or a trading or a robo-advisory technology companies. and it helps any one of you in those categories to work with a retail bank, commercial bank, investors, insurers, central banks, capital market players, and so on and so forth. As some of you might be aware, we are currently running the G20 Tech Sprint, which is G20 Saudi presidency led and Bank of International Settlement Innovation Hub Singapore led hackathon, completely run virtually on the APIX platform. If some of you are interested, you could go and check that out as part of the APIX platform. Next slide, please. Now this one is the critical one, because how APIX helps fintechs like yourself in your journeys to do good things. It provides you with business development opportunity. You don't have to go door to door to each and every bank across South Asia. We are connected to many banks and we take you there. Speed of prototyping, it takes anywhere between 6 months to 12 months before you can land up with a prototype. We can do that very, very quickly on APIX. We have done prototypes on APIX anywhere between 5 days to 10 days. You're able to build the whole thing. Brand exposure. A lot of financial institutions come to APIX to look for talent. A lot of investor community started coming in. AMTD is one of the first ones who have actually come on board and said that we want to actually look at the community that you are building so that we can look for any investment opportunity, and Michelle is going to talk about that. Hackathons, I just told you about the G20 Tech Sprint. One of the most prestigious hackathons in the circuit is being done on the APIX platform. It's a moment of pride for us. Investments and learning and development, just to upskill your teams. You could use the synthetic datas, APIs, and the other infrastructure provided on the APIX platform as a member to create stuff and co-create stuff with your fellow fintechs as well. Next slide. These are some of the use cases and problem statements that were presented by these banks and financial institutions, which were responded to by these fintechs that you see: Dataphonics, Opusala, Tiger, Trusting Social, Mambu, Remit Online, Wiser, Active AI, so on and so forth, which will all put together in the APIX sandbox for these banks and financial institutions. Just some of the examples. And your next prototype will give you a lot of advantage, and Hock is going to talk about that, on how doing a POC on APIX is going to be one of the best things that you would do this year.
And Manish, one question from the Q&A. What is the APIX perspective on insurers as financial institution partners? Or is this bank focused, or how do you think about that?
No, absolutely not. In fact, I just mentioned, if you go back to the previous slide, Prudential has done, I think now Prudential, in fact, as you remember, Todd was part of the webinar when we did it about a couple of weeks back when we introduced APIX Care, and they were kind enough to join this webinar as a user to talk about how APIX has fixed and cleaned up their innovation journey, and they were able to identify not one but two fintechs to provide for 3 different problem statements in a matter of literally weeks. So we are not bank focused, we are financial institution focused. So in my previous slides, I talked about retail banks, insurers, capital markets, and the whole host of it. Next slide, please. And as, this is my second last slide. So AFIN is a not-for-profit entity. On the board, we have ASEAN Bankers Association, IFC's World Bank, and Monetary Authority of Singapore, AMTD Foundation Hong Kong, and MasterCard. The whole platform and business operations are run and managed through Virtusa and Deloitte, Percipient, and Fedor. And very critical to our market presence is the Strategic Advisory Council, of which Singapore FinTech Association is a member, MasterCard, Brankas, and Bank of New York Mellon, AWS, AMTD Foundation, and Experian. These put together, these 14, 15 organizations put together is what form the core and the crux of APIX as a platform and AFIN as an organization, which help us reach out to you as a community and create a whole structure around this innovation journey. Next slide, please. And the best part is that under APIX Care, currently you can come on board for free of cost for a period of 6 months. And along with that, Prudential, who is a member and has been very kind enough to give an insurance top up to all your employees once you come on board as an APIX member. They offer you a special life insurance policy. And our colleagues in our friends in AWS have been kind enough to provide for cloud credits, complimentary cloud credits up to USD $25,000 if you are an APIX member, and they have various categories, and it's up to 25,000 US dollars. I think that should be all from my side, because I would want Anand to now take over and give you a quick demo, and then further on to Hock and Michelle. And I am around. If you have any questions, please do let me know. Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Manish. There's actually a few questions already. Some of these I'll pass to Anand, but for you, can you just give a couple minutes on examples, just a couple POC examples, right? So for the fintechs on the call that are thinking about, you know, how they can take their product set and make a POC out of it, with a focus on how they can do that in a short period of time. So one question is, you know,
can I go to the slides which I talked about the POCs, the one before this? Yeah. So just to give you an example, so for example, Tiger, which is a chatbot solution, and Prudential, they discovered each other on the APIX platform. Prudential reached out to us saying that, you know, they have this problem statement and they want to figure out which chatbot would be best for them. So we offered them 2-3 fintechs, and they said, you know, they like Tiger and they want to see how it goes. And then we supported and handheld Tiger to actually build the solution. So they had certain components which are ready-made in their database, and they were able to bring that to the sandbox environment of APIX. It's a pretty smooth, seamless sort of thing, which Anand will explain during the demo. And then they were able to put in a few code to consume the information from Prudential. And it was a matter of, I think, about 10 days when this working prototype was ready. Similarly, Maybank wanted to do something on an international remittance use case, and we were able to introduce them to Remit Online, which is a fintech based out of India. And Remit Online went ahead and built the whole prototype along with the teams in Virtusa and the synthetic data APIs from the APIX platform to create a full-fledged solution for them as a prototype. I hope that answers the question, Todd.
Yep, I think that's good, and I think and we can share more later. Okay,
Sure.
so thank you, Manish. For now, let's move on to Anand. So Anand's going to give a quick, 10 minutes or so overview of what the APIX platform is, like the actual, the product, so to speak, and what the different steps are to complete a profile and then figure out where the different features are in the platform. So Anand, over to you.
Sure, Todd. Thank you. Kat, can I share my screen, please? Thank you. I hope I'm audible.
Yep, you're good, Anand.
Okay, cool. So I'll just start from where Manish left. When you come to this platform today in production, you will see how to get started on this platform. And you will also see details around how to get the APIX Cares benefit, plus also the AMTD ASEAN funding. So both the details are available. You can click and read more about it and how you can proceed with that. Now, if say you are a fintech, and as this platform, it has majorly two different components. One is the fintechs providing the solution, and the banks or financial institutions, which is coming as a consumer or a publisher both. So when you come as a fintech and you want to onboard yourself, you just need to click on the get started and key in your email ID. Once you key in your email ID, the system goes and checks whether your organization is already onboarded on this platform or not. If your organization is not on this platform, then it will give you a message that it is not onboarded and you can start the onboarding now. And you can go ahead and start the onboarding. It's a pretty simple and straightforward process wherein you first submit the basic details, which we call it as a quick onboarding. So you provide all the basic details. Then you get an email with a link wherein you need to go verify your email ID and reset your password. And then after you log in, you need to go edit your profile and complete your subscription and other details. Once your profile is 100%, then you will be able to apply for the AMTD fund. So what I will do is I will log in and I will show you how this platform looks after you log in. So majorly, this entire platform is segmented into two major components. One is the marketplace, which is around doing discovery. So a bank or a financial institution can come and identify the right fintech as a partner to work with. And second is after they have done discovery in the marketplace, they can go to sandbox wherein they can go and start working on the prototyping. So basically it's your journey, which starts from marketplace, and there are multiple ways of discovery. One could be your fintech catalog, wherein all the different fintechs are registered here, are cataloged, and you can see the basic profile details. Plus, if you click on that, you will see more detail around the fintech, that what they are doing, what details are available, what products are available, they're pitched to their customers. Basically, all that detail is listed down here, which countries they operate in, which products, which country they offer in, what languages they support, any references. If you have already worked on with somebody on APIX, that can be listed here, plus any awards, accredits. Basically, it's your profile and you are trying to pitch yourself to your customers that, okay, I have done this, I have these products, and do you want to work with us or not? So that's available through the fintech catalog. Then the second way, as Manish was describing, is the solutions catalog. Basically, it's a catalog wherein if you have any ready-made solution available, you can come and post it here. And anybody can come and see that, okay, there's a ready-made solution available, which I can go and directly consume it. So that can help. Like one of the exercise we did, we have listed down some of the solutions here. So you can either mention whether it's in concept state, it's a prototype state, or it's already in the live production state. So you can mention it there. Plus you can also provide all the basic details around what the solution is doing. If you have any videos available, you can provide that. If you have more descriptions that, okay, this solution can be seen in this video or in this, say, deck, you can provide all that pitch here. So there are multiple solutions available that can be seen. And also, whenever there's a solution, we can tag any APIs that you have on this platform, or any different fintechs. If you have collaborated to create a solution, you can also tag them here, so that people, when they come, they can easily identify, okay, these fintechs are there which have worked and created this solution. Or as an individual, if you have any solution readily available, you can post it here and people can come and see. Now, the another way of collaboration in the marketplace or the discovery phase could be the business process flow, wherein people can come look at specific business processes and then look at what all step-by-step fintechs are available that can be contacted for, right? So say I'm in document verification, I can directly see how many fintechs are there. And this is test environment, so you don't see the listed fintechs here as of now. But in production view, we have all the fintechs listed here that I can show after I finish this one. The another way of collaboration between fintech and banks or financial institution could be a problem statement. So say if any institution who is working and they didn't find the right partner through these catalogs, they can come and post a problem statement. And as a fintech, you can come look through the problem statements, and then you can go and respond back to those problem statements that, okay, I have this solution. Do you want to use it? Do you want to consume my solution to solve this problem? So that can also be done through problem statements. Now, once the discovery part is done, or you are looking to more into doing the prototyping, then you can move to sandbox environment. And in sandbox environment, we have multiple components, as Manish touched upon a couple of them. The first one is API catalog, wherein you can come, you can look at the APIs that is available. You can look at the basic details of APIs first, that how many people have subscribed to it, whether endpoints are working or not, whether host is available or not. And also you can do a deep dive looking at the complete detail about this API, that what is the profile completion percentage, what are the technical details available, is there any security check being done for this or not, which gives a kind of assurance to people who are trying to consume it.
Hey, Anand, a couple questions.
Yeah.
One is around open source projects. So if someone's working on an open source project, can they post that as part of their POC or proposed solution on APIX? So what's the approach there? And the other one is, there's a couple questions around basically how to get the attention of the banks, right? So is it really depending on, you know, some bank team browsing, or is there a way to directly pitch? Is there a matchmaking format or matchmaking medium where fintechs can do a demo or otherwise get the attention of an FI?
Sure, there are a couple of ways that can happen. The first one is, say, when a fintech comes on board, they provide tags, right? Based on those tags, when as a bank or as any FI, I come to this platform, I will see a recommendation of fintechs based on the tags or interest that as a bank or institution I have provided in my profile. So that's a recommendation available. Plus, there are ways wherein, say, you have problem statements, you can go and reach out to banks through problem statements. Also, if your API is working, people can come and connect with you through those like APIs. There are specific buttons available for chats. So say if I go here, I look at the fintech profile, there are specific chats windows available. So banks or institutions can reach out to you, and as well as you can reach out to the banks using those communication channels, right? And of course, the biggest one is the solutions catalog, wherein people can come and see your ready to consume solution and then take that forward. And also for like any kind of interaction or reaching out to people, you have community available. So you have public and private community. Private community is for all the APIX internal users who are logged into APIX, and public community is open to everybody, right? Todd, does that answer the question? Anything else on that, or should I just proceed?
Yeah, I think that's okay.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. So in Sandbox, as I was saying, first one, we looked at the API catalog, wherein you can look at the individual APIs and you can go and test out those APIs as well. Individually go and try out how it works. You also have IDE, which is integrated development environment available within this space, wherein you can come create your own ID instance. And it's like any other Visual Basic development environment, wherein you can consume all the APIs that you have subscribed to on the APIX platform. And also we have synthetic data, which is available. As Manish was saying, we have multiple synthetic data APIs available, which can be directly consumed as a test data or static data. And we have two types of data basically available. One is the static data, which can be used for testing purposes. And we have also live data, which is coming from live core banking systems like Temenos or any other core banking system, which can be consumed, right? Now, if going through the platform, if you have still questions, you can look at the support section, specifically the training material. You have more details available around that. You can browse through each of them and see if you need any support. And if you still have questions, you can get in touch with the support team. And once you send email, somebody will get in touch with you, right? Now, the last part that I want to cover here is the AMTD funding. If you want to do application, So what you need to do is you need to ensure when you go to your name, next to that there's a drop down. You need to go to your institution profile here, and you need to ensure it is 100% complete. And if it is not 100%, you need to go edit. And once you click on edit, it will show you all the missing informations. So basically this tag will be there if you have any missing information. Say if I remove it, it will show me a missing information there. And there will be a question mark here showing you the section which is missing information. And say if I go and submit, try and submit my profile, it will not allow me to do that, right? So you need to ensure your profile is 100% before you go and submit application. And how to submit your application? You simply need to go click on the AMTD funding and click on the apply button. It will take you to the application form, wherein if you have already filled in the details, your profile is 100% complete. Part of information which is available here will be extracted, and rest all details needs to be inputted here. And you need to have all the details ready. So my suggestion is whenever somebody is going and filling in information, they should first look at all the details being requested here and keep the documents ready and then fill in the details and apply. Yep. Todd, I think I have covered my part. I'm happy to take any questions. Otherwise, we can move to the next.
Okay. Yeah, let's move on for now, and then we'll have remaining time for there. I think there's lots of questions about the grant scheme as well as APIX usage. So let's move on first and tackle the rest of the questions during the open Q&A. Thank you, Anand. Hocklai, over to you. Hocklai is from the Singapore FinTech Association, and we'll be sharing details on the FinTech grant scheme. Hocklai, it's all yours.
Okay, thanks, Todd. Can I have the slide? Okay, next. Yeah, so basically before I start, probably to give a background on all these things, right? We know that the COVID-19 pandemic is not just a health crisis, but also an economic crisis. FinTechs are not immune from it. In the survey we done to our members in the second half of March, close to half of our members felt that the COVID-19 has had a significant impact on their business. The larger FinTechs are less affected. The smaller ones, those with less than 20 packs in headcount, are more affected. And their top three concern areas are business costs, fundraising, and lead generation. Next slide. And then, of course, the ecosystem responded strongly. For the last 1.5 months, various support schemes and initiatives are being launched, starting from 8th of April, whereby we have the MAS support package, which includes the APIX Cares that Manish talked about, 6 months free subscription for those Singapore-based FinTech companies that are certified by Singapore FinTech Association. And then you have that digital acceleration grant, whereby 80% of the digital tool subscription that you use are funded by MAS. For example, your cloud hosting subscription. The third important piece is what we call the FinTech self-assessment tool, whereby we'll give a self-assessment framework and also workshops to teach our FinTech companies how to be familiar with the outsourcing and technology risk management guideline, so that they are more effective when selling to financial institutions. Because through our members, more than 90% of them have a B2B product offering. And then on the 17th of April, we have the 50 million AMTD ASEAN Solidarity Fund. Just now, Anand went through the process of applying for it. I believe Michelle will be talking about it. On the 23rd of April, we have a similar scheme from Brazil. They're also providing bridge financing, equity investment, or equity-linked kind of loan scheme. And then on the 4th May, AMTD announced their partnership with SGX. And in addition, they announced this AMTD Global FinTech Fellowship Program, which will be developed together with Singapore FinTech Association. Basically, every year, we will select up to 10 FinTech founders to participate in this program, and they will be exposed to globally on various platforms so that they are connected worldwide. And after 5 years, they will join this exclusive club and they will have access to many of the capital markets. And last but not least, just 2 days back, we announced the MAS SFA AMTD FinTech Solidarity Grant, which I will go through in detail now. Next slide. So basically the objective is really twofold. One is to support the FinTech in the short term in terms of their ongoing operation, and also to help them to grow during this difficult period. Next slide. So basically there are two types of grants available under this scheme. One is the business sustenance grant. So this is really to help the FinTechs in the short term to save jobs. The next grant is called business growth grant. It really is to help them to sell during the global this pandemic through the APIX platform by doing proof of concepts on the APIX platform. Next. So what are the eligibility criteria? First and foremost, you must be a FinTech that is registered and in operation in Singapore for at least 3 months before the grant application. So the grant will be open for application on next Monday, 18th of May. So you must have been registered prior to 18th of February. Secondly, you must have at least 2 or more core activities in Singapore, things like your R&D, your market development. These are some of the core activities that must be conducted in Singapore. Last but not least, you must be an SFA member with a valid SFA FinTech certification. So for more details, you could go to the singaporefintech.org website to understand more about the FinTech certification process. Next slide. So I'll go through the business sustenance grant, called BSG in short. So basically we are under this grant, there are 2 kinds of support. One is a wage support, one is on rent support, and the total cap is 20,000. So what is covered under wage support? Basically up to 2,000 a month per local staff. And we actually include founders and directors to be eligible for this wage support. And also if you are recruiting an intern who is a local, you can also claim up to 1,000 a month under the wage support. On the rental support, up to $4,000, and for up to 6 months for the office space. So in total, under this business sustenance grant, you can get up to 20,000 in grants. Next. For the business growth grant, basically the overall cap is up to $80,000, and it's really to support you to do proof of concept on the APIX platform. So basically 70% of the qualifying costs related to the POC on APIX are eligible. So basically it could be related to the manpower that's being attached to this POC, or professional services incurred during the POC, or the related hardware and software licenses. So for the first application, you can get up to 40,000, and then you can do another 4 more POCs, but each of them will be limited to 10,000 each. So for a total of $80,000. Not only that, in order to help grow and nurture the local FinTech talent pipeline, we also provide 100% internship funding. So the funding can be up to $1,000 per month for undergraduates only. And if you are a FinTech company with more than 30 staff, the cap is at 20,000. Less than 30 staff, the cap is at 10,000. So in total, under the business growth grant, you can get up to 100,000 in grants, both for qualifying costs and for internship funding. Next. So what are the KPI requirements? I mean, there's no free lunch, but at least there's a lunch here. So obviously, the important objective is to retain jobs. So basically, you must remain registered and operating in Singapore for the next 12 months from grant issuance date. Secondly, headcount cannot be reduced by more than 20%, and you must retain a valid SFA FinTech certification throughout the period. And for the business growth grant, your POC must be successfully completed on the APIX platform. So basically, it is a reimbursement basis for the business growth grant. Next slide.
A few eligibility questions, Hock, if you don't mind, because there's a lot of chatter. These are quick ones though. Number one, does rent cover co-working space, or does it need to be a proper office lease?
Yes.
So yes,
the
co-working space is eligible.
Co-working space, yes, and we do encourage there are quite a number of co-working space whereby we have exclusive partnership with. For example, with ETRR, SFA members get an additional 5% rental discount also. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Second is SFA certification. Can companies apply for SFA certification or membership at the time of their application, or is there sort of do they need to already be members prior to setting up this grant? What's the requirement there?
Applying for certification is complimentary, but once it's approved, you have to pay. However, for the grant, one of the requirements is that you must be a member. So what you can do is to apply for the free certification review. Once it's approved, you apply for the membership. But having said that, we expect the business sustenance grant to be very popular, and the total amount available is only about 1.5 mil. So basically, you will be able to. Yes, it will be on the first come first serve basis. We do have some internal criteria because we have some kind of internal scoring. So we give preference to those that have small local shareholding, like at least 30%, those who are loyal members of SFA, and also those smaller fintech companies with less than 20 manpower. Because to be frank, at 20,000 per fintech, it's not a lot for the bigger fintech company. And last but not least,
but it matters a lot for the early guys.
Yeah. Last but not least, proof of hardship. So we need your bank statement or audited financial statement. Yeah.
Got it. And is it eligible for the wage subsidy? Is it available for EP holders?
Not for the business sustenance grant, because the idea is really to help to keep local jobs. However, for the business growth grant that is tied to the POC, because we also understand that Singapore might not have all the talent who are able to do some of those jobs. It's not tied to be local hire. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Can I continue?
Yes, please.
Previous slide. Yeah. Okay, I have to cover a bit on the governance because the grant is not free. Applicants do have to submit the utilization report. If the grants are not fully utilized, there will be clawback. The second thing is that random audits might be conducted, and if fraudulent activities are being detected, right, we will also claw back the amount. And last but not least, in Singapore, I mean, the principle of funding is really no duplicate funding. So if your particular headcount already covered by another grant, there should not be duplicate funding for the same headcount. Yeah, next slide. So these are all the documents that you need to submit. I don't think I will be going through all this. Later, I will have the QR code for you to scan, and then you can find the list of the documents you need to get ready. Yeah, or you can just go to the singaporefintech.org website to find that page that has all these documents. Next. Next slide. Yeah. So basically, the process is very easy, and the application will be opened on next Monday. So you just need to go in and fill in the grant form, submit all the documents. SFA will review the application, and then the successful applicants will receive further instruction on how to proceed with the grant. And then over there is the QR code for you to apply for the grant. Yeah, with that, that's all I have to say. Talk about the MES, SFA, AMTD, FinTech Solidarity Grant. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, actually, I can do some
Wonderful.
Q&A.
Yeah, thank you, Hocklai. Let's continue. In the interest of time, let's continue to Michelle. But Hocklai, I recommend look at the Q&A and see if you can answer. There's several questions specific to the grant that I think can just be answered through a few clarifications on the chat.
Okay.
So with that, over to you, Michelle, to talk about the AMTD investment fund.
Sure. So hi, everyone. I know it's a difficult time for most of you. AMTD is here to help. But before I go into the details of the investment scheme, let me give you a little bit background information of AMTD. So why we are here to help and what we can offer apart from the funding. AMTD, we started in Greater Bay Area in China, Hong Kong. Singapore is another home for us. It's also our Asia regional headquarters. Basically, we're trying to connect opportunities in ASEAN and Greater Bay and create that connectivity. We have a very strong ecosystem of financial institutions, technology partners, government entities, associations. So we're trying to promote the collaboration among different partners to really contribute to the innovation in ASEAN and in Greater Bay. AMTD, our own business, we have financial business and non-financial business. On the financial part, AMTD International, our investment banking and asset management arm, is already listed on New York Exchange and also on SGX, with market cap around 2.7 billion US dollar. AMTD Digital is a relatively new entity under AMTD Group. It's basically the digital financial platform. We're trying to create a one-stop cross-market digital financial services platform, including banking, insurance, payments, everything, to really create a strong product offering across market to reduce user acquisition costs, to really provide that one-stop experience. That's rare in Asia so far. So when we look at investment or our initiatives, we never focus on short-term returns. We focus on long-term. So we have many strategic layouts in Singapore. We are the founding partner of Singapore FinTech Festival. We, together with Singapore Management University and National University of Singapore, we have the Singapore FinTech Digital Finance Leadership Program. Also, together with the SFA, we have the Global FinTech Fellowship Program. So these are all long-term. So from all our initiatives, talents, and also contribution to the FinTech community, two core areas. So that's why we're here to help FinTechs in Singapore and in Southeast Asia through this Solidarity Fund. So when we look at what we can offer, we are really thinking about building a family and to include all of you into this family. So we want to create that collaboration opportunities among you and our existing partners in the ecosystem. So Policy Pal, if you have heard about Policy Pal and our partnership, that's a good example. So we recently announced the acquisition of Policy Pal's majority stake. So Policy Pal is a Singapore-based insurtech pioneer, also the first graduate from MAS FinTech Sandbox program. So by acquiring Policy Pal into the ecosystem, we're helping Policy Pal to tap into a wider potential partner network, and also to enrich their product offering, and most importantly to connect the connectivity between our banking services and also the connectivity with Greater Bay. So it's a lot of work to do, but it's also again a very good way for policy power to scale up and build their credibility in front of larger financial institution partners, and also have a good funding backed by us. So this Singapore, this AMTD South ASEAN Solidarity Fund, basically there are two parts. The first one is the grant schemes. Hock already covered that in details. We are very honored, AMTD Foundation and AMT Group, together with MAS and SF, join hands to support Singapore-based fintechs. Really, we want to support first, of course, that's the short-term support to alleviate your short-term cash flow pressures, and also to help you to support your employees, your trainings, your interns, everything. So the second portion, a larger portion, also targeting on the long-term impact, is the investment scheme. For the investment scheme, we are looking at the forms of stocks, equity-linked investments, or also maybe debt investments for the long term. So the key criteria, two very basic criteria. Number one, you have to have ASEAN operations, apparently. And also second one, you need to be on board on APIX platform. Also, you need to make sure your APIX profile is 100% completion, okay? So make sure you're filling your profile. Apart from that, just think of us as a long-term strategic investor. So when we look at who will be ideal investment, we look at your of course your technology and your product market fit, your business model, your strategy. That's every strategic investor would consider. But very important factor we would consider is that we want to support the existing supporter of Singapore. So for those fintech companies, if you have already demonstrated your contribution to financial technologies in Singapore or to the community, you're welcome to join AMTD Solidarity Fund and also our ecosystem. Second, we want to support outside of Singapore. We want to support those fintechs with operations in ASEAN, other markets. Okay. So in terms of the process, you fill in the application form on APIX. So every 14 days, the AFIN investment committee will decide a short list. That short list will be submitted to AMTD. The AMTD investment committee will decide on which one will be the finalist. So the process at AMTD will take around 4 to 5 weeks to decide. So every 14 days, the APIX or AFIN, right, will come up with one batch of a shortlist. So very likely, just you will know if you will be shortlisted after 14 days of your application. So the whole investment scheme will run, will last into end of next year, 2021. So we don't have a cap on individual investment. So it's case by case. I want to emphasize that don't think of MTD as a financial investor. We look at long term. We really welcome the finalists to really join MTD's ecosystem. Together, let's build the one-stop digital financial platform in Asia. Let's have that impact in the market. Let's have that one-stop offering to the market. It will be very powerful, especially in this challenging time. I think it will be very difficult for smaller, one vertical players to really survive in the market. So, but together we will be stronger. Our existing entities, we have digital banking licenses in Hong Kong. We have the insurance brokerage license in Hong Kong and Singapore. There are a lot more to add. So we welcome your contribution, technology, innovation, everything, and we are here to help you to scale up fast. Okay, I guess I'll stop here. Let's see if there are any questions.
Thanks, Michelle. For now, I think, so let's open the floor to questions generally. So there's one open one that I missed actually. Anand, you're going to answer about open source projects on APIX. And a related question is whether the APIs published need to follow any particular standards, for example, PSD2 or buy-in standard. Could you share a bit on that?
Sure. So from open source project perspective, it could be open source, or see if any fintech is coming and putting in their solution in their profile, it relates to them, right? So it doesn't matter if they have created open source or it's like within their own community or within their own company. So it's totally dependent on that, and it's a fintech's choice whether they want to publish it or not. But there's no such restriction from platform perspective on that one. Second, the question around the standards. So we do not have any specific standard that we say you have to follow this or you have to follow that, but we have kept it pretty close to buy-in, and whatever you will, when you are going and onboarding your APIs, you will see that it is related to that. So buy-in is recommended one here.
Great. And for Michelle, what's the minimum ticket size for the AMTD investment grant?
Oh, we don't have any requirements on that. Also, I think one thing I didn't mention, you can both apply for the grant and the investment scheme. I think that will help.
Great. And maybe, Michelle, could you just summarize again the selection criteria for the AMTD investment scheme? That's another question. If you could just kind of summarize what what AMTD will be looking for and what the review committee of APIX will be looking for.
Sure. So the very two basic requirements is that you have to be registered in ASEAN and also have operations in ASEAN, right? Second one, you need to be signed up on APIX and have 100% profile completion on APIX, right? So after you completed your profile, you can start to apply for the AMTD funding. For the other considerations, basically the legitimacy of your technology, your product, your strategy, user funding. So that's a big part. Another thing is that we want to invest into, or we want to support fintech firms that have demonstrated their support or contribution to Singapore's fintech community or to the overall fintech technology development in Singapore. So that's a very important consideration. Also, it's very important for the fintech to have operations in ASEAN as well. So basically, those are the key criteria we consider.
Just to add,
so SF, go ahead, Manish.
Just to add to Michelle, Todd, I think it's important that the applicants also, besides the mandatory criteria is 100% profile completion, but for the APIX investment committee to make a very informed decision, it's extremely important and crucial, although not mandatory but highly recommended, to upload your APIs or to upload your solution on this APIX solution catalog, because that is our way of trying to identify better from the best, right? Otherwise, every application is equal to us, but we would really appreciate that if you can give us something more objective for us to make a very informed decision, and even for the investment managers, because for them, every KYC company is a KYC company with 100% profile, or every payment company is a payment company with 100% profile, and so on and so forth. We have no way to assess good from the best. So I would really recommend that we do upload our APIs, we do upload our solutions, and reach out to the team at APIX, at the support, if you need any help whatsoever in this process. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Manish. So just to summarize, the SFA grant, the applicant needs to be a Singapore registered company, and it needs to be basically for covering kind of Singapore related costs, right? Local rent, local staff. The AMTD investment is for any company operating within ASEAN. So not necessarily a Singapore headquartered company, but they need to be headquartered within ASEAN and operating within ASEAN. So that, I think that's an important distinction, especially for the Indonesians and Filipinos, Vietnamese that are kind of looking mostly in their home market. Another one is the...
Yeah, maybe I chip in on this because about 45% of all the fintech companies in ASEAN are based in Singapore. So we do have those ASEAN fintech company that registered in Singapore. So they are actually eligible for all these various fundings. Yeah. Just that those who hire more local will get a bigger funding amount. Thanks.
Great, thank you. And for Michelle, AMTD funding requires an entity to have operations in ASEAN. Are there requirements around where the revenue is derived? Or if they're primarily driving revenue from outside ASEAN, is that okay, even though they're headquartered within ASEAN?
Of course, we prefer the revenue to be generated locally in ASEAN.
Okay. All right, I think we're right at 5 p.m. Any other final comments or clarifications from the panelists? Manish, Anand, Hock, Michelle.
No, we thank as APIX, as Team APIX. I would really want to also take this opportunity to thank MAS, SFA, and AMTD for giving us the opportunity to serve the ecosystem, not just in Singapore, but also in the ASEAN region. And I look forward to welcome all the participants from the fintech community to be on the APIX platform and use this this opportunity to get some grants or maybe look forward for some investments. Thank you, and thanks Todd for organizing this.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks again to SFA and to AMTD and to the participants joining. Enjoy your weekend, and thanks for the great questions. Have a great evening, everyone. Bye-bye.